Oh, oh man. What's good? Good morning, Carly. First one in. I gotta get a drink. Hold on. Ah. So, came out to smoke, and for the past few days, I've been having some good conversations with a buddy of mine about a lot of things, but one thing that caught my attention, and it was really yesterday, I started looking up like the history of language, the history of words. And I thought it was really interesting that English is one of the hardest languages to learn. So I started looking into like the history of our language and where it stems from, where it comes from. Um, and I learned something. I learned that definitions over the last 50 years have drastically changed. Drastically changed. Like, one definition that has recently changed is the definition of racism, right? What we believe is racism um, has been altered over the last 50 years. So then I was like, well, how come you can change what a word means? So that means if you could change what a word means, then you can essentially control the thoughts of somebody. You can control the direction of their thoughts. This guy's weed eating right now, huh? What's up, Three Beer Minimum? What's up, Dragon? Vicky? Lynn? No, I didn't get off work. I'm off today. I'm off today. So yeah, so like I started looking into like, okay, I'll give you an example. Santa, right? Santa, it might seem crazy, but Santa is, and we all know this, all of us. Sorry if there's kids in here. If there's kids in here, you might want to get out. There shouldn't be kids in here. But if there's children in here, if your children are in the car and you're on the way to school, dropping them off, well, I'm going to say next could destroy their imagination. Santa Claus is not real, right? He's a figment of our imagination. But yet there's an image associated with him. There's an image associated with him. There's a narrative associated with him. I gotta get a Zen, dude. This guy's driving me nuts out here with this freaking mower. I don't know where it is. Oh, hold on. Uno momento. Uno momento. I'm trying to find my freaking... This could be catastrophic. Maybe I don't have any more. Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, what's up, Ray Ray? All right, back to the conversation. This guy's out here weed eating. Appreciate you, Brooke. Appreciate you. Good looking, Brooke. Y'all can hear that weed eater. I know you can. It might be an edger, actually. Where's he at? Oh, he's right there. That's why. Yeah, he'll be gone in a minute. But anyway, so like Santa Claus, right? So Santa was created for what? You know what I'm saying? Why was that? Why was it a saint of children? Like that's the thing that's confusing to me. So like nowadays, if you called somebody a saint of children and said that they gave away gifts to kids, they would put that person in jail. You know what I'm saying? Toys, yeah, toys. So if you can make the mass of people believe in something that doesn't exist, you know what I'm saying, right? You can make people believe that this thing, and they call it like a Christmas spirit, right? You gotta have the Christmas spirit. You gotta have the Christmas spirit. And I've always said this, like we're experiments essentially, right? If they can get you to believe something, and they can get you to dedicate an entire month to supporting something, and it's fictional, that just shows that it's possible to shield what you believe in and change your thoughts, right? You're essentially lying to your thoughts. You're like, look, I know that he doesn't exist, but I'm going to act like it exists. Now look at a lot of the problems that we have in the world. You know, a lot of people change the way that they think based off of what they believe. Well, what if everything that we believe, or for the most part of what we believe, is not true? What if... Now language is weird because, like, they can alter a definition a little bit to make it mean something completely different. And us as Americans, we don't change it. Like, look at professors, college professors. If you speak to a college professor, and I'm talking like a professor at FSU or LSU or like big college professors, and nothing against a small time professor, but not like a community college. I don't mean that. I mean somebody that when they speak to you, you have to almost Google Translate the words that they're using. And the reason why you have to do that is because the evolution of our language has changed it so much that what we think is communication and they think is communication are two different worlds. What's up, Miami? Holly. Jesus' birthday we should celebrate. Yes, but Tyson James, I was watching Tyson James, I think that's his name, last night. He was live and he spoke about this. Like, how come we only celebrate those things at a certain time? How come it's not something that we're always celebrating? And why did they use a lot of things? Like, if you look at the holidays, a lot of the holidays that they're used are not celebrated worldwide. They're not celebrated barely even nationwide. I think that a lot of people, I think language is left up. Like, okay, so check this out. So other countries come over here, you know what I mean? And our language is so changed up all the time. Like when I was growing up, I can remember words lasted longer. Like slang lasted longer. Like when we were in school, all of middle school slang stuck around. It didn't change much. It was all about the same, right? So then all of a sudden it makes a change. You know, words that we used to use back in the day. And it's been like that forever, bro. Like, even, you know, the people I grew up with speak differently now. And the people my parents grew up with speak differently now. Like, everything has changed so much. But why? Why do we have to change the way we speak? Well, it goes back to controlling the thought. If I can control what you believe is the definition of a word, then you're going to say it all the time. You're going to talk like that. That's how you're going to, you think you understand what it means, but you don't know. It's like talking to an ignorant person. They swear they have all the ideas and all the answers, and then that takes the credibility and throws it right out. Because if you can't communicate your thoughts, or your emotions, then essentially nobody has time for you. Like, see ya. Articulation, is that the word you would use? Articulate. If you can't articulate how you're feeling, they don't. And if you look, bro, like, think about it. Everything is told. You're always told to communicate, communicate, communicate. Communication is key. So there's got to be a bigger message in communication. If you're altering the words constantly and you're changing definitions, then it's not authentic. If you can change the definition of racism multiple times over, then how do we really truly know the true definition of racism? If you talk to a college professor, a racism has everything to do with color. That's it. It's just racism to a color. It doesn't have to mean negative things. It just has to mean you're not okay with a certain color. Why does it have to immediately mean color and ethnicity? Like, where did all these things get attached to it at? You know what I'm saying? Where did it all come from? And I believe in power of manifestation too, and I think people know that it exists. I think people know manifestation is really a thing. So if we believe in it, evil has to believe in it. Bigger corporations have to believe in it. They have to understand that, speak it into existence. So if people aren't riding with you and people aren't backing what you're doing, just talk about it. Just keep talking about it. Keep talking about it. And eventually, either, and this is, I'm glad you said that, because either they'll alter the definition so that it's favorable for them. So even though you might not support it, you might not show support to it, you might in your thought think, that's not too bad. Well, that right there is controlling lifelong, you're going to have kids and you're going to tell your kids about things that upset you. Well, if I alter a definition to make it where it doesn't upset me anymore, then I don't teach it. I don't teach that that's bad or that's no good. Kurt, what do you think about this wild fire laser talk? Dude, I think, listen, I've looked into a lot of my YouTube rating. So you can ignore your problems and they don't exist. Exactly, miss. So you can ignore your problems and then they don't exist. It goes back to communication. So let me finish this and I'll talk about why. But it goes back to communication. So if I make you believe that everything that's going on around you is okay, and I make you believe that people aren't evil, then what do you think? You think the world is just in a weird place and there's some weird people on there. You don't necessarily believe that it's the world as a whole, right? That's a bad example. I think the media does a great job putting a lot of bad in the news, so it makes folks like me who don't want to see that stuff stay out of the news. But then it also causes me to be misinformed and miseducated on what's actually going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I can make you hate something to where you don't want to learn about it, then you don't really know what happened, right? If I can make you believe that the past was nothing but dark, evil people that wanted to destroy our world, then what do you believe? Right? Now look at where we're at now. Look where we're sitting at right now in life with all this transgender and LGBTQ, blah, 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 blah. We're as Americans and humans, we're sitting back going, why are you showing so much praise to these fucking weirdos, right? Well, if you're praising these weirdos, it's putting a thought in the back of your mind that, hey, these people aren't that bad. You know what I'm saying? And in that subconscious thought, when you see somebody in community and you're like, ah, yeah, it is what it is. Like, bro, my son's last school that he went to school with, middle school, when we went to his graduation, they had a transgender teacher, right? And bro, everybody was okay with it. But when you leave there, people hated it. Why? Why did all of a sudden your image of something, like when I was going to school, that would have never been allowed, ever, never, right? That would have never been something that would have been accepted. How come now it's accepted? It's because we're made to believe through I guess you would call it manifestation, but it's more like a manipulation. That's what this is, bro. That's what we're in. We're in a manipulation phase of our language. Like the people that come 100 years from us are gonna look at our history and go, transgender was labeled okay in the 2020s because people are afraid of being unable to get employment. Well, if you look back, bro, like I'll say this, and you know, this is a fact. If you look back at the Holocaust, and I know this is gonna rub people wrong, but if you look back at the Holocaust and you look, a lot of literature that was burned had to do with pedophilia, had to do with nasty, dark, evil shit, bro. And you know, people will label Hitler as this horrible person, and look, he probably did some nasty, heinous things. I wasn't around. It goes back to communication. It goes back to transferring our history from generation to generation. If you're made to believe somebody is bad, and the masses say that this person's bad, the general consensus is this person's bad, right? But what if he was trying to rid our world of what we're experiencing right now? Like, it definitely has always existed. Yeah, I wasn't there either. I don't know, but I'm not gonna close my eyes and be blind to the fact that there's a good possibility that that gentleman was actually, and look, we all make choices, bad choices. We all do things incorrect, right? In the eyes of other people. But how do we know that what he was doing wasn't for the better of mankind? You know what I'm saying? And some people, and look, don't take that the wrong way. It's just, and I don't care if you do anyway. It's just like a thought. Like, we've been made to think people are bad our whole life. Like, I don't believe people anymore. And this is where this came from. I don't believe when somebody says, I get messages all the time. Hey, I got a message about Ghost Devil. This dude bashes women. This guy's this guy's that. Like, if I believed everything that people sent me, then I wouldn't like anybody. So I think about that and I put that in my everyday life and I think, okay, well, if I open up my phone and I read about what's going on in the world today, I'm going to start hating everything. I'm going to hate everything. There's always going to be evil in something. And if there's not, the media will find a way to make it evil. They'll find something. Like, look at this guy, Oliver Anthony. I reacted to his music yesterday. Phenomenal message, great song, whatever. You know, and he says it. He's like, this ain't no masterpiece that I put together, but the meaning behind it is. So look at what they've done with that. They've already taken all this, oh, he didn't sign here, he didn't sign there. It's great. It's awesome that he didn't sign there, but it's putting a vision in people's brains that he doesn't want to further educate us on his thoughts. Like, people are gonna turn against him because of this. They're creating that divide, bro. Rather than just say, yo, this dude's music's awesome, and leave it out of the media and get away from, you know what I'm saying? Like, blow him up, but don't. They're gonna make it seem like he is against us. They're gonna try to make him a criminal. That's what they do, dude. That's what they do. That's what they've always done, regardless of good, bad. They're gonna make it bad. My husband is from a country where he had no idea who Hitler was until he came here. So yeah, in his country, They don't make these things until they meet. Yeah, exactly. It's not a known thing for people to talk about the past in a negative thing. Like most of the time, like, okay, our future is what, and we speak on this all the time. People talk about this all the time. What's up, Whiskey? Our future is what, or our past is what creates our future, right? So they know that. We know that. Everybody knows that. It's said all the time. So if we alter our past, then essentially we can change our future. That's said all the time too, right? And that's very true. Oliver Anthony has about 500 to 600 songs. Yeah, I'm sure he's got tons of good music. He's, that he didn't just roll out of bed one day and decide that he was going to make good music. The dude's obviously made good music for a long time. Your last comment? Let me see. Please look up Trey Smith God in a Nutshell. And please let Ryan know about this channel. It's very eye-opening and it will have answered a lot of what you're all questioning. Well, like, this is the thing, bro, is like, is it all been a lie, essentially? And I know people are like, oh, conspiracy theory. No. What I'm saying is has our vocabulary been a lie? Has it been altered and changed throughout the course of time so that it can fit into a narrative? Because if definitions, look, this is another thing that I learned the other day that blew me away. Definitions are man-made. Words are man-made. Language is created by something. You know what I'm saying? Just Trey, I'm in a wormhole, bro. I'm stuck in the middle of why do we lean on words so hard? Like, why do we lean on what somebody says as factual? 100%, because they use the words that were created by something else. Like, the definitions weren't the definition of Santa. I'll use Santa as an example. Santa is a word, right? Santa, Saint Nicholas, Santa, that's a word. But the people that created the definition of the word are people. Like, like, look at Latin. Look at some of the language that has been on Earth all of existence, right? It doesn't change much. Words continuously mean the same thing from centuries and centuries. They didn't alter the language from its original form. So that's why it's so hard for other people from different countries to learn our language, because it's altered so many times that words mean. And what was the guy's name? It wasn't Gallagher. What was the guy's name that does the comedy? And I'm sure somebody will know in here. He's got long hair. He does the comedy, and he talks about like how words are so weird. How doors should spell door, but when you change one letter, it makes a completely different word. I can't remember his name, but he shows it, and he's like, "Look, bro, how can we lean that this word is spelled this way and means this, but you change one letter, and it means something completely different? Why?" So if you go, like, I think Miss USA, yeah. Well, look at that. You change one word in Santa and you create Satan. What's up, Wick? And bro, Wick is Wickster. Shout out to Wickster. Wickster kind of opened my eyes up to this a while back. Like, I'd always thought about this shit, but me and him went live and kind of talked about the manipulation of media and how media kind of twist a fact and moves it into a narrative, like, yeah, it's a fact, but they twist the fact so far and alter the definition of the word to make it fit a negative thing. Like, we gotta pay attention to that shit, dude. We gotta see that. And what changes it? I don't know. Can it be changed? I don't know. Yeah, George Carlin, there you go. That's who did it. He talks about the difference in like words and how words mean one thing spelled one way and words mean something different spelled the other way. There's nowhere else in the world that does that. We do that. Americans do that. That ain't normal, bro. That's not normal. If you walk around and you read signs that are written in other languages, the way that they spell their words, they don't spell doors differently. Dude, it's so weird. It's so crazy that language, what we hear, like, think of it like this. Our brains, right? Here's our brain. Our brains are wired to what? Like, language doesn't come from birth. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're born, you're not born with language at all whatsoever. You have no language in your body. You're not born. There's no DNA that shows your language, right? So you're taught your language. You're taught your language by your parents, by who you live with, by whoever raises you. So there's people that are full-blooded American that speak Spanish, or full-blooded American that speak French, or full-blooded American that speak English, right? So that tells me what? Is that depending on where you live, it's going to depend on what you believe in, right? Because if I manipulate the English language to make it fit a narrative, and you teach your kids that, you teach your kids what Santa is, right? And I know I'm using the Santa, who even taught the English language in the right language to speak, right? That's what I'm saying, just straight. So, like, if you freaking, if how can you be so ignorant to believe that what you say is real? Humans created definitions. Humans created language. Humans created everything. So if we know that evil exists in our world and we understand it and we can accept that, right? We all know that not everybody's good in the world. Everybody can accept that. Nobody can argue that, right? Then who created our language? Was it a good person? Yeah, I did see your last comment, Kimberly. I'll look into him. I'll look into that guy. Well, look at that, Wisco. I'll say this. What better way? Like, look, when you're growing up, your parents say not to do something. Don't do that. What do? You do it. People like to resist. People like to push back, right? So if I tell everybody that we got a huge problem with guns in our country and we got to stop all the guns, what does everybody do? Everybody goes out and gets more guns, right? And I've said this before. People are just buying guns now just to literally just buy them. Like, okay, you're going to stop us from buying them? I'm going to buy one. I've never even held a gun, never shot one, never loaded one, but I'm going to buy one. So what does that create? That creates an evil entity now. You have somebody that had no need of a firearm. They didn't want a firearm, but they just bought it because the government said they couldn't have it. So then what happens is those people that now exist in evil, that have evil thoughts, that have evil feelings, that never express them, they now own firearms, right? Crime, excelling now. Yeah. Well, look at the Book of Eli, bro. The Book of Eli holds a lot of value for me in this conversation. The Book of Eli, the world had come to an end, right? The world was in shambles. And this one guy had the last copy of the Bible, right? But it was all in Braille. Nobody knows that. Spoiler alert, nobody knows that the whole movie. So this guy's defending this book, and he's trying to rewrite this book, republish this book so that it can get spread back into the world so that people understand the Bible, right? But the Bible essentially in that movie was all in Braille. And he was the last person left on earth that could read Braille. So hopefully that dude was good because he's now going to translate what he hears or sees or feels or however that works onto paper. And I feel like that's a great representation of what our past into our future looks like. Somebody is sitting back and rewriting our history. You know, you see them with tearing down statues and doing all this shit. They're trying to erase this. Not for now. It has nothing to do with right now. It's 20 years up the line, 30 years up the line. It's not something, and the reason you don't understand the Bible, Lynn, great comment. The reason you don't understand the Bible goes back to a manipulation of language. If we all spoke like the Bible, right? Call it biblical, call it religious, call it whatever you want. I call it language, right? So if you go back and you find, what is it, Hebrew? I think that's the first language the Bible was written in. I could be wrong. Wick, you might be able to tell me if I'm wrong there. So look what we're made to think. We're made to think Hebrew and Jewish people are like not cool, not good to be around. Stay away from them, right? Like that's what the media is portrayed for me. I mean, look at what they said Hitler did. Look at all the things that it's creating a divide. You either like it or you don't. They manipulated language. You either speak it or you don't. Like, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy when you really start thinking about it, that we're putting our faith in what we think about and what we believe and what we understand into some people that we have no clue if they were good, bad, okay, what their motives were. What does it say? Though thou doth protest too much media. I don't know what that means. To pass the way of the world and the way of the world. Yeah, I agree, Wick. You're either gonna go the way that they're telling you to go in the world, or you're gonna go the way that you believe in the world. That's where I think definitions shouldn't exist. I think definitions of words, they should just stop changing them. Don't change them. Leave them for what they are, and for even if we made them up, at least they hold more value if you stand on it. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's always been the definition, it's more believable. Yeah, exactly. It's a bunch of lies, dude. Essentially, and look, how many people govern our world, our country, our whatever? Do you think all of them are just telling the truth? Like, look how many liars you meet in real life. You just think all those people are telling the truth, and everything that they've said from the beginning of time has to be true. Shit and cap are the same thing, but when... Yeah, shit and cap and same. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, the way that language has changed throughout the history of time, it's insane, bro. And it like erases real words. That's my point. The reason that you don't understand the Bible, Lynn, is I feel like the language is so foreign to us. And look, I'm gonna go out and say this, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, what if religion and all this stuff gets pushed so far back that it becomes foreign to us? It becomes like almost taboo to talk about because nobody will truly understand it." And look, I'm not a religious person by any means. Anybody that knows me knows that I am not religious by any means. But what I'm saying is it's still to this day confusing to me, and it's even more so now. So if you look at like the history of religion, back in the day, dude, I used to go on the church bus every Wednesday for when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And it was understandable. It was like, you know, that like religion for dummies almost. Like it wasn't hard to understand. Now, everything has to be, he said ass and butt. It's true, bro. Everything has to be danced on, and you have to walk on eggshells on how you say anything, because if you don't, it's going to mean something different. So if I change the definition to something enough times to where it's bad, it prevents people from saying it. It prevents people from talking about it. And look what's happening in our economy, in our communities, in our world, bro. They're changing definitions so much so that it becomes taboo. The fact that so many books were left out of the Bible makes me want to, yeah, exactly. Leaving. That's my point, dude. That's my point. Like, put the good and the bad in there. Tell me it all, bro. I want to know. I think history is important. I think they're making people fear history. I think that's why we're rewriting history. I think because if you look at us as numbers, dude, just look at us as numbers. Look at us as a business. I really want you to focus on America as a whole. Let's just say America. Just America, right? We're going to focus on this. America as a whole is a business. Mission statements. Think of a mission statement at your job. You know, your company has a mission statement. Look at our national anthem or our Pledge of Allegiance. It's a mission statement. Look at uniforms and dress codes through the military. Look at your job, uniforms and dress codes. Think of it as law enforcement, uniforms, dress codes. Fire departments, uniforms, dress codes. Now look at everybody as a whole. We're just essentially, we are how would I say it? We are active participants in a thriving business. Like, we're there. We might not be everybody that works or owns property or owns a vehicle or owns anything is an active participant in a business. So if you look at America as a business, you look at your job, there's things at your job that mean something completely different at your job than they would outside of work, right? Definitions of words, procedures, policies, things that you have to do. So now go to England, right? Or go to Germany or France or Australia, go anywhere outside of America and look back at America. That's what we are. So if you're standing in Walmart and you're looking over there at Target, Target's going to have different policies than Walmart is. Walmart's going to have a different exchange rate. Imagine that. Target's going to have a different exchange policy. Your gift card at Target ain't worth shit at Walmart unless you take it to a third party and have it exchanged for some sort of value, whether it be money or a transfer to a new gift card. The book of Colin. So, and I thought about doing like a live StreamYard to this and allowing people to come up and talk about it, but I wanted to talk about my opinions on it and my theories a little bit first, because I don't want other people's theories and opinions skewing what I see. And so I've been digging into this for a few days now, probably about a week and a half. Mises' new album really made me open up my eyes a lot, because like I said, I didn't really appreciate his music. I didn't appreciate his message. I thought it was all political. I thought it was just a bunch of political hoopla. Yeah, well, currency has a lot to do with it. Currency is another form of communication. If you can't talk, guess what talks? Money talks and bullshit walks. That is the fucking, that's the biggest tell right there, dude. Like that, wave the flag. Hey, I figured it out. Money talks, bullshit walks. So regardless of what your definition could be, if I got enough money, that definition don't fucking matter. That's why definitions get altered. That's why definitions get changed. The gift card situation is just like the old mining currency where they would only spend, you get paid from the mining company, but you can only go spend your money back to the mining company. That's what we're doing. You can work a job and buy a house, motherfucker, but you're paying it right back to us. We're thriving off of your accomplishments. That's what we are. We're a huge company. So like, look, when I was a little, what do they call them? I'll use a different word. I hang around, or I'm in chats of Australians and shit all the time. Lad. So when I was a little lad, right, I would run around and do my thing. I thought America was the greatest country in the whole wide world, and I'd never leave. Control information. Wait, these are facts, bro. That's what I'm saying. You opened my eyes to a lot of this a long time ago, and I just kind of started paying attention, and I looked at it in mainstream music. I looked at it in mainstream. Just take the mainstream, take the mass of the world, dude, and that's the mainstream. Take that and just really start paying attention to how they move, and you'll notice patterns, and you'll notice that just as much as humans and Americans and average citizens ride trends, they create the trends. That's a trend setter. They have taken what we built this for them. We built the ability to manipulate us for them. They laid the foundations there for us, and we ran with it. We don't have, dude, greed. It's greed. When it comes down to it, it's greed. Everybody's got some form of greed in them, whether it be the greed, they want to be the most successful they can ever be. They want to be, it's a form of greed. As well as allowing billionaires and wealthy men and corporations. So now to the Hawaii thing. So I believe what I learned about Hawaii, having so many investors come and try to buy up that place for a long time. They've been trying to. They ain't coming off of it. But then I learned that once something has been devastated, like if you want to go buy some property in South Florida right now where the hurricanes ran through, it's prime time. Those insurance agents would be happy to recoup some of their money, right? So look at Hawaii, look at Maui. Those insurance policies, they ain't gonna pay those people what that property is worth. Nothing near what they're worth. So it's gonna displace them. There's no way that they can fund going back to where it just burned down. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna have to move. They're gonna have to either move into the States or go to another country, right? Or become homeless in the state that they live in. So when I learned that you can buy property like that for pennies on the dollar because it was a natural disaster, yada, 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 yada. Maybe they didn't start the fire, but I believe that they didn't care that it was burning. And they knew that if they didn't get it, with the amount of wind that they had and the amount of wilderness that Hawaii holds and the amount of wood framed structures that it holds, that what's going to happen? It's all going to burn down. Ain't going to cost them $0. They're going to make money off of it. Yeah, the history loss is unreal, dude. But that's what it comes down to, bro. If we can erase our history, we can change our future. And they know that. And it's said, bro. We as people, everybody knows that. Change history, alter history, and it will change your future. Look at all the stuff they're doing with the Confederate statues all over. If I can remove this from you, it doesn't exist. I think we've been way more advanced than this. How long have they said the Earth's been around? Billions of years, right? You mean to tell me out of billions of years, there's only 2,023 of them documented? Well, let's say 4,000 of them documented. Dude, I've seen them say 40,000 years before BC. No way, dude. There's nothing. Bro, what if all this shit was already here like this? What if we all already had the technology? We all had this shit. What if this is just a rerun of it? Yeah. No, it is carved in stone. I wouldn't say it's all on computer. Because is that really what our history is, though? Like, that's another thing. Every day like history is created, which is weird. Back in the day, it took some time to create history. It wasn't like every day world records are getting broke, every day things are changing. Like every single day. If you sleep on if you're an active participant in social media and what's going on, you sleep on it for one day, the next day you're behind, dude. You're so far behind, it's a struggle to catch up. And if you stay off the internet for a week or two, and I feel like that's why people reset. We have enough material to rebuild. There was wireless connection in the 1800s. Well, it existed. It had to have. We're not creating things that don't exist. We're just creating an understanding of how to do it. Like they never thought that nuclear technology. Nobody ever thought that we were going to be able to create a nuclear bomb. Nobody ever thought that we were going to be able to create and harness nuclear energy. They thought it was too strong. It's way too powerful. There's no way. Not possible. You're never going to do that. You can never contain it and hold it. Look what we did. How do we do that? Technology. Science. It comes back to science. What if the phones existed before and they melted into oil? Yeah, you're right. See, the thing is, bro, and I'll say this, I don't necessarily believe that. I believe this. I believe that this was all super clear at one time. I believe this was all crystal clear. Like the understanding, I believe that our understanding of our why our earth is here, why we're here, what was here before us, what's going to come after us, I believe that was all crystal clear. All crystal clear, right? And then through time and manipulation of evil folks and people that, why do you want to hide that? I see why now. For money. If I can tell you that something is going to happen because something doesn't exist, you get what I'm saying? Like, if I can make you believe that there might not be anything after life, and I can make you believe that there is no higher power, then I can manipulate you to lean away from religion and Christianity and maybe factual things and lean more towards what ifs. Like what ifs is a huge business. Look at medicine, look at pharmaceuticals, look at anxiety medication. Bro, when I found out I was the biggest lab rat in my entire, like all the fucking I'm sorry if you're on it. Shout out to you. You probably need it. But yo, you have to come to an understanding of yourself. What is a chemical imbalance? You know what I'm saying? What is a chemical imbalance? How can you change? Mental health is real, don't get me wrong, but I think mental health exists in people because it's manifested in people. I don't believe that the cavemen and the fucking people before our time ever really dealt with mental health. I think it was a creation of evil. Why are all the ruins of the pyramids, the Colosseum, the Mayans, the Aztecs still around? Why haven't they reused the materials or rebuilt? Because they wanted to stop that shit, bro. That they wanted to get rid of that. That's why they don't rebuild. I've always believed that the reason that we don't rebuild these ancient civilizations that we found under volcanoes or wherever in the ocean is because we don't want people to know the truth. Really. Because if you rebuild this shit and you redig into the history of these people and you really find the shit out, how do you find that out? There ain't no Mayan motherfucker walking around willing to tell me what happened in the ancient Mayan ruins. Like, that doesn't exist. Nobody's gonna tell me about the fucking pyramids. No person is gonna walk up and be like, yo, bro, I was building the pyramids, bro. No cap. Because that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. They're not even going to communicate to you like that. It's going to be a fucking an alien. It's going to be a foreign language. I think they're examples of what pure. Bro, I heard some lady bitching and screaming the other day about bipolar people shouldn't smoke weed. What the fuck is she talking about? And if you know, you know who I'm talking about. This lady was screaming about that. Like, what? Yeah, yo, people don't even know what they're talking about. It goes back to we don't know what we don't know. Motherfuckers will swear that they know. They all know all this shit. I know it all. Everybody knows it all. We're all a bunch of know-it-alls. Staying off the internet makes you just get behind on. There's a new world record probably getting broke right now. Somebody's probably fucking flicking ping pong balls 500 times on the wall in the fastest minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, the history is moving. There's so much fucking history. History books are gonna be like this thick. Like, you're gonna have the Guinness Book of World Record. I used to read that book when I was a little kid, bro. When I was a jit, and it didn't change. You had like 2000 and it was this thick, and then 2001 would come and it was still this thick. It wasn't freaking 99, 98, these records, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. Like, when the steroids started popping off in baseball, pay attention, right? When the steroids started popping off and all these records started changing and everything started evolving in sports, like, sports went fucking nuts, dude. Remember that time. Remember that time when it wasn't just football anymore, when football changed. Remember when baseball, remember when hockey, remember when basketball, when all this shit changed, right? Look, if you're a sports person or you understand sports media, think of it that way. Baseball used to be the all-American freaking sport. It's always had corruption in it. Look at Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris. Look at those dudes, right? But it never really truly changed the dynamic of the sport. Now look at how corruption affected sports. Look at what it did. Look at fucking Wander Franco from the Rays that's got pedophilia charges and he's gonna never play baseball again. Look at what entered baseball. Have you seen that ever before? Have you ever heard of any baseball player or any sport player of any relevance and he's a foreign American? He's not even from America. Modern day gladiators with politics, bro. Sports are politics. Sports are literally politics. Who's got the most money? Who's got the most influence? Look at TikToks and Instagrams. Look at the bigger teams. Look at the teams that have more sport, more media influence. Look at the success. Look at the Yankees. Look at Dallas. As much as the Cowboys suck, bro, look at the influence that they have on the media. And look at the money that Jerry Jones produces. Look at the money that Steinbrenner produces. Look at they're corporations, bro. They're corporations of a corporation. We're a bunch of mini corporations run by America. Made in America. I believe that it's all a script given. I believe that, when you're a kid and you're playing organized sports, dude, it's not scripted, but there's been some times that money and influence through player organizations, like even high school coaches, bro, they get free meals at local restaurants. They get free this and free that, right? So let's just say I'm a baseball coach, right, for my local area, and I go outside my local area, and this fine gentleman at a very high-end restaurant just comps my whole meal and my whole family, and he does it every time I go. Well, I find out that his son plays for another county's school that's in our district, that's in our schedule. What do? Because now his kid is going to be hitting against my team. Do I serve him a couple meatballs to allow the kid to hit the ball? Maybe. Depends on how corrupt I am. Dana, do you remember? Brett Favre is my favorite quarterback of all time. Do you remember when Brett Favre laid down for Michael Strahan for him to break the record? Do you know that the media tore into him because he wasn't supposed to break that record? He wasn't supposed to break that record. He was supposed to not break the record, But him breaking the record is what created his media career. Him becoming, what do you know, a world record holder for the most sacks in a season. What did that do? And look how quick it got broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what my point is. Like, how can records are made to be broke, right? But why do we keep track of them then? Who cares? Who cares how many home runs you hit in a season? Who cares how many, like, who gives a shit? I don't pay you to do it. We'll never forget they screwed my Drew Brees out of it last year. Sometimes I feel like they're paid more to lose. They're paid, dude, it depends, bro. Like, I'll say this. I'll say that I don't think they use good to ever promote anything. I think when they use good to promote anything, it's provoked by an evil intention. Whether it's evil at the beginning or not, the outcome is always evil. Look at Tebow. How do you turn a team around with a playoff game and get blackballed? Yeah, because of what he believed in, what he stood for. Tim Tebow even went to try to play baseball, and look what happened there. And granted, he wasn't the greatest. I mean, he wasn't a great outfielder, but there's not. I mean, he was well enough to play on a team. I don't worry about what's going on the internet, though, so I'm missing it. Yeah, I know I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you do. I'm just saying that there was a statement that history is right here, right? Our history is inscribed in the internet. So if you want to follow the history, if you miss a day, you fall behind. Like, if you're not paying attention to the media, nobody ever knows why he's burning. Right? Nobody knows who Oliver Anthony is. Nobody knows what anything is going on. Isn't that fucking weird, dude? That people control what we know is going on and what that's weird, dude. But what if it doesn't matter? Like, that's another good point. That's a good point. What if that doesn't matter? What if everything that's going around, like, does it matter that Tom Brady has the most Super Bowl rings? Does it matter? I mean, is it going to change anything? What does it matter? So I think just a lot of things, everything in our life, I think they use like people that are easily influenced or people that are sheep, dude. It's sheep. That's a great way of putting it, because like if you know that majority of the world is just going to believe in whatever you tell them and it's going to help you financially, that's what they do. I think it's weird that almost the entire world relies on Google for real knowledge. Yeah. Everybody says, hey, Google, why do you got to do this? Hey, Google, why do you got to do that? People's phones, wife's phones are probably going off because I'm saying, hey, Google, hey, Google, hey, Google. If you fucking say that, the phone stops doing everything it needs to do and says, hey, what do you want? Ain't that weird? But if you think about it, it's not weird, because that's how they create what they can. It's analytics, dude. If you rely on something for all your knowledge, it looks at it and it tells you that it's looking at it. It says, hey, we're analyzing everything you search to help better your search. No, it's not, Snaggy. Like, it's... Well, that's the thing, bro, is that if you can take value away from something, and I think that's what they've realized in sports, bro. I really believe this. So hear me out. If I can devalue sports, if I can make it to where people don't like sports and it's evil, right? And I can make it evil, which it seems like that's what we're getting. I can pay people less to do it because it's way, way too much money, but I can still make the same amount of money. If I could pay a bunch of players way less to do the same thing and I'm going to get the same turnout, why not? Look at COVID. COVID was a thriving thing for baseball and football and sports, period. A lot of people are unconsciously living. Dude, I'm going to say this. I think I think COVID was designed for the elites to get away from a lot of fucking peons. Look at like the Roman Catholics, right? The big back in the day, like peasants. That's what I meant, peasants. Like we're a bunch of peasants, essentially. Look at it like that. So if I could pay $4,000 for a game and I have it like that, but I can guarantee that I'm gonna get 6 feet apart from anybody that can spill beer on me, I'm going. So like all of the freaking concerts that were shut down, that all these elites went to, all the football games and the baseball games that all these elites went to, that's what they wanted. All these celebrities that don't want to be around a bunch of peasants, they got what they wanted. They shut all this shit down, and guess what? Money talks and bullshit walks. If I could say, I don't even want to breathe the same air as you, imagine that. What did you have on? Fucking mask, filtering your toxic bullshit that they didn't want to breathe. Population control, mind control. It's manipulation at its finest, dude. We're taught manipulation from the moment we're born. We're taught evil from the moment we're born. Unwillingly. We don't even know it. The people teaching us sometimes don't even know it. They don't know because they were taught. That's where you're inheriting it from. You're inheriting it from years and years and years and years and years of misinformation and misdirection and lack of education for real things. Like they educate you on shit and let other things go right by your head. Oh, you're gonna learn algebra, but we're not really gonna teach you what you need to know when you get out into the real world. I mean, you need to know algebra and sometimes, but bro, I'll be real with you. I weld and we don't use algebra. I mean, I can ask you if this bay measures this much and the overall of the rail measures this much, how much does the other bay have to measure? That's algebra, bro. That So you do use it. You do use, but it's not. I would have rather known like fucking how to balance a checkbook or how to manage money or what a credit card can do to your credit if you use it correctly or what, like there's so many different things that you can learn that. And look, I'm not saying credit cards are great. I know it's a path of the devil, but I'm just saying there was so many other things that you could have been taught in school that's going to teach you life, and they just neglect to do that. Yeah, or they should teach you how to freaking read a tape measure instead of teach you like, bro. Do you know? I'm going to teach everybody something right now. Do you know that if you want to divide a fraction in half, how simple that is? And they all have to do is say, hey, if you want 1/4 and you want to divide that in half, take the bottom number and times it by 2. You want half of a 16th? Times 16th by 2, it's 32, it's 1/32. You want half of a 32nd? Times it by 2, it's 1/64. Like when I learned that, I'm like, you know how many times I would have saved my ass in school? And did they teach you that? No. Hell, the carpentry class where they fucking you make bird boxes and all types of wood shit, they don't even teach you that. They barely teach you that. Them motherfuckers didn't even know that. But then you can't, homeschooling now, that's what they want to get away with. That's what I thought was weird, bro. Is they did a lot of schooling on the screen. Here's a little quote: "The intuitive mind is sacred gift, and the rich." Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Teach them everything about nothing. Well, what if it was teach them everything about nothing, but also I feel like school is designed, they teach you to keep an open mind to everything, right? But what if that's the design? Like keep an open mind to everything so that we can corrupt it with whatever we want. Like what if all the wars and shit really are wars, but they're not wars for what they say they're for? What if they say they're for freedom and this and that, but what if it's really power and control? Or what if it's dude, there's so many things that school made me think that looking back, I'm like, yo, what if that was all a lie, bro? What if they were just setting up my mind to believe whatever the fuck they wanted it to believe? Like they really wanted me to believe that this shit was bad and that all these people around me were bad and to watch my back and this is what happened to our country and like what if all that shit was bullshit? What if the people that were really bad were actually the people that were trying to change this country for the good or this world for the good and they were made to look like horrible people? And vice versa. And that don't discredit any leaders in the past, but I'm saying what if the real leaders were actually the followers? I can read about how Western society still uses Roman. I unschooled both of mine. What is unschooled? No, I haven't ever heard of Paul Harvey. Bro, I haven't really looked into this until recently because I thought people were fucking crazy, dude. I really thought people were crazy that talked about shit like this. I'm like, bro, you guys are fucking nuts, dude. Do you really believe that they have that much control and that much power over somebody's thoughts and somebody's actions? Yeah, they do. Before I was a YouTuber, I didn't even consider that shit. I didn't even really care about YouTube. This shit wasn't even. Now I care about it because I'm learning from it. I'm learning from this shit. If you notice, I don't make a video for a few days or a week or whatever. It's because I do this because I enjoy making videos, right? I enjoy putting content out for you guys, but I'm also learning about something that eventually will. It already rules the fucking world. Hold on, I gotta see this. Kind of like ungaslighting yourself. Oh. Like how come we weren't taught like what if the schools taught everybody about our history but never leaned left or right? What if they just shot straight down the middle? They told us the history, just the history. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, exactly. Your kids are your. I agree. I agree. But it sucks because they make it to where you can't homeschool. Yeah, you can't. But you can't. They literally. You're right, just Trey. It's the generational lack of knowledge. Like books. But see, then again, bro, you can beat that all the way down. I can tear that up because I learned from books. But who wrote the books that I learned? The same motherfuckers writing the internet, dude. It's the same people. They're just on the internet now. Webster's dictionary, the dictionary that was created, a bunch of definitions created by a human, now writes definitions on the internet. Oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I could have replied to a text message right here, and I didn't know that. And I closed it out like a dummy. But now I feel like if I try to open it up, it'll delete this. Yeah, you used to read it. Well, everybody uses a Webster's dictionary. I'm not saying that it's bad, bro, but I mean, it could be. My thing is this: is there's no way Webster sat there by himself and created every one of these fucking definitions. No way, dude. I found a great channel, Unveiled Mind. Bro, share these channels and tag me in it. If you got a YouTube channel and you can share something on your community post, share me in it. Tag me. Let me see it. Because it's hard to find shit by yourself looking at shit like this. Because you get lost in one thing and you don't, you know what I'm saying? That's the part of the internet. How much can we ingest from the internet? Like, how do you filter out the bullshit? Yo, and I haven't even smoked my joint yet. Shit's about to get real. Kurt, I sent you something I think you really should watch. I'll look, Amber. I think I seen it in your, you sent it on Facebook? The Devil's Lettuce. Yeah, man, I don't know, bro. I wish I could reply to that text message. It was about some of the shit we're talking about. Like, I really, like, when I say that I get interested in things and I look into them, dude, I get lost into them. I've been on a kick, bro. I'm telling you, that Mises album really changed a lot of my thoughts. And then Wick is like a big member or he's a big part of Mises' community. Like, I know he'll say, "Oh, I'm not a big part of anything." He is. He's a staple for Creek Squad. He's a staple for a lot of positive movements. And I see him in Mises' thing, and I was like, bro, I know what this dude believes in, so I know what he's listening to is not going to be unbelievable. But I didn't understand the political connection. And, like, I'll tell you this, sometimes I disconnect when you relate religion. But I was taught that through the media. And I have to understand that. I wear a cross, bro. Like, it's so confusing to me because I wear a cross, I believe in it, but I'm so, like, desensitized to it because I've been taught that it's not what it is. Like, Mises will even talk about it, and that's one thing I like about him is he'll even say, like, the churches and the shit that you think are the churches, that's not the churches. Like, that's not, and he doesn't discredit all of them, but he's saying, like, you can't put that stigma on every church. And I believe that because you can't put that stigma on every person. We got bad and we got good. We got good church, we got bad church. We got good worship, we got bad worship. It's good and evil, man. All right, redneck dick. Religions are hypocrites. Yeah, I know, but see, that's the thing, bro. Why should we be made to think that? Like, I believe everybody should have their own opinion on whatever the fuck they want to have their opinion on. I really stand on that. Like, if you want to believe that this joint created you, by all means, dude, believe what you want to believe. Worship the joint. You know, if that's what you stand for and that's what you believe in, and that's what you want to, how does that affect me, bro? I'm gonna tell you how it affects me. If I'm a rich motherfucker and I'm trying to get a bunch of clients, because that's all we are. We're ingesting their product. We're purchasing their product of life, right? They're playing God. I see why people say that, because they're changing or altering your life based upon a dollar. So rather than just allowing you to believe what you want to believe, allowing you to worship what the fuck you want to worship, or stand for what you want to stand for, they tell you that it's wrong, that you should believe in this, or you should believe in something. You have to. And if you don't, you're not a productive member of society. Well, imagine that. Imagine that. You're not a productive member of society. That means you're not providing them the income that they need for the society to grow. Society, aka, so they use the churches They use the community centers and those things to fund and transfer funding. They need that. If I have a bunch of people believing that joints are their God, and there's people that believe that, dude. There's people, look at the fucking Rastafarians. They believe the higher you get, the closer you get to God. So look what they did to those people. And that shows like they don't want that shit, bro. There has to be, you have to believe in either this or that. That makes value in something. They're creating value in something. They're creating value in people. That's what they're creating, bro. It's sad, dude. It's a sad fucking world that we live in now. And that's why Oliver Anthony hits so many people where it counts, because he's right. It's a new world. And when you walk outside of your house, or you walk outside of where you feel comfortable, it's no hold bars. You got to pay your fucking due in life. And if you don't, you suffer the consequences. Why though? Whose consequences? Whose fucking life really is it then? It ain't your life. You got to answer to somebody every day, and you got to fucking, you can't just say, fuck it, I'm not doing nothing. Then whose life is it? And I feel like when you have an infinite amount of wealth, that's when it becomes your life. Oh no, there's definitely good. But see, the problem with good is when good stands up for themselves, it makes them look crazy, right? But when evil stands up for themselves, there's like a shield over them. It's fucking weird, dude. And I see this is why I relate to a lot of what religion speaks on and what people say about the world. Like, good is masked and crazy. And the media has created that mask, right? When you see good come out and people try to be good, it's hidden behind crazy. But when evil comes out, it's hidden behind trending. You know what I'm saying? Like, people see evil and they fucking love it, dude. They thrive in it. They're like, yes, evil, but they don't even see it as evil. They just see it as normal. And they fucking run with it. That's why Oliver Anthony was a blessing, because I feel like the dude was sent from heaven. That how can you do what so many of others have done? So many people have spoke out the same way Oliver did. So many. Same way. Same message. But why was his heard? Yeah, Wick, exactly, bro. And you know what I'm saying? You're far from it. You're an intelligent person that has his own opinions, that believes in his own shit, bro. That's why you're labeled crazy. Unless you believe in what they tell you to believe in, you're fucking not a productive member of society. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're a whack job, and you're on drugs, and you probably fucking got people buried in your front yard. Like, why can't people be fucking their own people? Why can't we believe our own shit? Because we're not worth anything then. If I know I could fucking cut my grass with scissors every day, faster than a mower, and everybody believed that, there'd be no lawn companies. So if they know that you could get your own life straightened out and you could fucking straighten up your own mind, you don't need pharmaceuticals, there would be no pills. Well, guess what? Back in the day, there wasn't no fucking pills, dude. There wasn't none of this shit. None of this, oh, we can fix this with that. Yes, medicine has advanced to lengthen our life, but you don't get high off of those medicines. That's what I've said for the longest time. Like, don't take those medicines away. Don't fucking take the medicines that increase life and help you thrive better. Don't take that shit away. Why do we need painkillers? Why do we need antipsychotics? Things that slow your brain down, slow down your processing, slow down your fucking communication skills. Why do you need that? You don't need that. How come some of the biggest fucking communication people, talkers, are just those are the canceled people? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just think that more people need to stand up and say this shit. But I know in the grand scheme of things, we're silenced. There's no point. I mean, there is a point, but so many people have a negative image of what freedom should look like, and they don't know it. People say they stand on these amendments and they believe in this shit, right? But yet they fucking align with a bunch of people that they trying to get rid of it. That's facts, bro. And like I said, a lot of people say I'm crazy. A lot of people think people that believe that this new coming shit is a reality. I believe it is. I think we see it with the political shit right now. The manipulation of power. Like that should be the first warning sign. That if you don't understand, that should be a sign that you're like, whoa, holy fuck, dude. How did this person win and that person still won? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it does. Because if the message from one is not what it needs to be, I think people look at Donald Trump like he's crazy for that reason. And I can't say that dude does a bunch of badass shit. I can't say he's a great individual. But what I will say is he stands for the American. It's weird. Like, what if... So check this out, bro. You know how Donald Trump had a great relationship with, what was that guy, Vladimir Putin or whatever? So what if... And now look, Biden has no relationship. They don't like each other. And look there's a war in Ukraine from you know who. What if he knows some of the shit that goes down? What if they both kind of had an understanding? And look, people label them as criminals, crazy, fucking bad humans. What if that's just bullshit? You have to be able to look at both sides of it. Tupac? Oh, Trump held the Bible. Oh, they said Tupac. Yeah, Trump is a businessman, but if America's a business, you're right. You're 100% right. 100% right, bro. If America's a business, what better? And I said that too. I said if I had to pick somebody to run a business, I'm picking Trump all day, every day. Yeah, but wars, Donald Trump, I know they do, but why is it? Okay, so check this out. Answer me this. That means that everything we fight for, everything that we stand for is not real. Because there's no way you make that much money off of just fighting for what we're talking about. Like if they're really going over there, they're really fucking fighting the war for what they say they're fighting the war for. It's a loss of money. We should lose money. I know we don't. I know. But I don't need a leader. Like I hate to say it like that, but I don't. That motherfucker has no power over no. The only power they have is taxes and shit like that, right? That's a lot of power actually. But I mean, that's a problem. There ain't enough ways to change that shit. But we created that. We allowed that through laws, through elections. That's why this shit's important. Yeah, they'll always win. will always win, bro. I don't know what that is. An anarchist? Is that what you said you were? The more mad. What did British? I don't even see British. Oh, there he is. Biden is the left in the left three. Yeah, bro. I don't know. I could go on and on about this shit forever, but I can't all day today. I gotta shit. I gotta do shit. I'll be looking at this shit to the end of time, dude. And that's what's happened. Like, see, that's where. So check this out. So once you start looking into this shit, you really start looking into it, and that's where people start to be. Oh, this motherfucker's crazy, because you start figuring this shit out. You want to tell people. You're like, yo, look at this, dude. Look at that. Look at this. People are like, bro, this motherfucker is crazy. But essentially, that's what you're designed to believe. Like, that's why they put people talking about political shit and make them look crazy. Put them out on blast on social media. Clip down something they said, make them look super fucking nuts so they're uncreditable. And the masses don't believe it. And then it doesn't matter. But every now and then, somebody will make sense and it'll go viral. And then that person will get fucking knocked off the internet. Imagine that. Fiction books and fiction movies and shit uh, thrive, dude. But people don't want to see that that's what we're made to believe, dude. If you noticed over time, like the true stories have dwindled away in books and movies. It's more fictional nonsense that doesn't isn't reality. That's why I haven't watched the movie. I watched the first movie with my daughter. It was Marvelous Ladybug. It was a cartoon. But I haven't watched a movie in like 3 years. That was the first movie I've watched in a long time. I think the last time I watched a movie actually was Stutz or whatever. That was recently. But other than that, I don't watch movies. I've seen a lot of movies in my life, but I've seen a lot of them in my 20s, early 30s. Paul Harvey, If I Were the Devil. Yeah, I'll check it out. She said, I'm going to Live Island River today. Dude, there's so much shit. That's what I'm saying. Tag me and shit. I'll watch as much as I can. I just got a couple things sent to me, so I'll watch those. And I'll look for the tags, dude. Yeah. Sometimes, dude, sometimes I think we would all know the story if they wanted us to know. That's why I want to know. I want to know because we're not supposed to know. I don't know how to do that tag shit. You hit at Captain Kurt Reacts. Hit at and type my name on YouTube, and it'll pop up my YouTube, and just click it. Put it in the title or something, or in the description, and it'll tag me in it, and then I can click on my post from you. I don't know how to do that. Oh yeah. Yeah, bro. So I don't know, man. Keep an open mind, dude. Keep an open mind. Look around. Like, a lot of people are giving church problems. I see it in the comments. Like, when you're fucking opening your eyes to this shit, it's crazy, dude. Like, when you start looking into this, when you get in your YouTube or wherever you're looking or wherever you're watching it from, and you start listening to the opinions of different people on this topic, and they start putting facts out, you're like, yo, what the fuck? But do your research of who you're listening to, because sometimes people don't have no clue what they're talking about, no clue, or they don't, or they don't freaking, they don't do it. Like, they don't believe in it. They're just talking about it. Chameleons blending with the environment. think people have always been waking up. I think most of the people have been waking up. I think it's a generational thing, man. I think people have been waking up since the beginning of time. I think every generation is being designed to wake up less and less. I think eventually they'll get a bunch of sheep to where the population will be sheep. And then, like, you know, when you see that zombie apocalypse shit where they're like, zombies have taken over the world. It won't be zombies, bro. It'll be a bunch of sheep, bunch of yes men being like, yeah, 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 to everything. And then there'll be a bunch of outcasts like myself and so many others that don't want to that want to resist. They want to find their own message. You know how many kids these days are like, yep, it says that. That's true. Yep, that, yeah. That's what they don't even argue it, bro. They're not even like, what? There's no fucking way. I don't even, you can just hit them with the facts. So they're like, oh, yep, Google says it. It's got to be true. Really, Dana? That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm never really confined with what the fuck YouTube wants me to confine with. I don't know what I can and can't talk about on YouTube. I don't really care, dude. It's a camera. It's a YouTube channel. It's a I'm fucking bullshitting in my garage right now to nothing essentially. Like this is its own entity over here. There's a whole other fucking life over here. Why am I gonna alter what I'm saying to the camera that I wouldn't say if you were sitting right here in the chair next to me? Why would you conform to any policy of anything like that? That's where I believe that that's why people get censored. We are a Roman. Essentially, we're Romans. Yeah, Wixer. I mean, I don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? Because I enjoy making YouTube, but I don't know how to not talk about. Like I try, bro. That's why sometimes I'll dance around what I say because I don't want to be. I want to be honest, but I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to be. I try not to be critical to both sides. Like I try to at least give respect to a certain side. You know what I mean? Like, bro, don't get me wrong. I love social media. That's why I say this. I enjoy it. I think that it's used the wrong way. I think it could be corrected. I believe that there's sites that try to correct it, but they're not successful. Or they fall for greed and they realize that all they got to do is allow this, this, and that that motherfucker's gonna run. So, I don't know, bro. And what's successful? Why do you have to be? How many people do? Like, I understand a Discord a lot more now. Like, why do you have to have fucking 40,000 people you're watching? Why can't you have a Discord with like your solid group of people you fuck with that you can bounce conversation off and just chill? When can you pick up? So. Bro, when I comment on a lot of people, like, I comment on church and shit, right? And I can find out if that comment's there. Dude, so many times that motherfucking comment don't get posted. I have to post like 3 different comments, and it'll pick one of them that it allows. I'm like, what is going on, dude? And I know it because nobody fucking interacts with it. So I go and I look on another device, and what do you know? No fucking comment. And sometimes it's so stupid. Like, it ain't even fucking. But it makes sense, bro, because then it's the mass. Then they know that it's multiple, regardless. So that's the algorithm. That is YouTube at its finest. Their machine knows that I support him, right? So if his supporters are commenting on his stuff that's going against what they stand for, it shows the mass. So if I block the mass, it doesn't look like it's normal people. It looks like it's a bunch of random fucking comments. Perfect way to. And that's what they want to avoid. Obviously, they can't get every one of them. That's why you see ones make it through. Yeah, it's sad. Well, like I don't put my monetization on a lot of times because I just don't. Like, I don't even turn it on. You can go look at a lot of my reactions, and if there's ads on them, most of the time it's old shit, and I'll just go turn them on for the old videos because I figure all the people that support me see it, and if anybody else sees it now, they gotta pay for it, or they gotta watch an ad. And YouTube probably puts ads on them regardless. That's why my wife's like, you should just turn them all on. I'm like, no, because then I fucking hate ads. I want to throw ads out the fucking window. I wish I could ball up an ad. That's why I wish I could fight. That's where my violence wants to go to is ads. Fucking ad. If I need something that bad, I know what the fuck I need. I don't need an ad. I have a problem with buying shit as it is. I don't need a fucking ad. Don't send me an ad. I don't want to watch ads. I'll pay for there to be no ads because I don't want to fuck with no ads. Advertisement is so flooded that you're buying shit from some shipping container in the middle of Korea, and when you get there, it's nothing like you thought it would be. Fuck ads. Or you're sending your money to some fucking dude that's gonna scam you and you're not gonna get anything. I learned all I have to do is ship something. My grandmother got scammed so many times. She bought a watch, she got a fucking RC car. And the guy's like, well, he sent you something. We don't know how much the value is, but he sent you something. So how do you know what I'm saying? You can't do that. It's crazy. That's a foreign country. But look, I'm out. I'm tired. I got shit I gotta do. My sinuses are killing me. I love y'all. I appreciate you guys stopping in and listening to me ramble. Trisha, Texan, Tiny Panda. Yeah, YouTube gives ads if you put something that's copyrightable. So let's say I put a church song in here and it's copyrightable, they'll take it and they'll put it as an ad, but the revenue will go to him and go to. It's fucked up, dude. It's crazy. But I appreciate you guys. Much love, y'all. I'm out. Have a good day.